Why should you choose Nolf, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Fairmont City? Why wouldn't you choose them? At Nolf, their sales are speedy and include upfront and straightforward pricing. If it's service and parts you're after, they have skilled technicians who are factory trained while offering knowledgeable parts experts. Maybe you need Nolf's full-service body shop offering top-quality collision repair to all makes and models of cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Or do you want to cruise the highway in a clean, shiny vehicle thanks to Nolf's detailing service? No matter your needs, Nolf, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Fairmont City is there for you. Find out more at NolfChryslerDodge.com. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is another edition of Nolf Bites here at Nolf, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Fairmont City. Today, I am Blaine Gold after eating a truckload of ice cream. I am joined by the Wizard of Offense, Jason Kundick to my left, and then Andy Byers is to our right. And today it's all about interviewing for the Penn State football head coaching job. And got that opportunity, the Wizard. We have a chance. We have a chance to make men of integrity at Penn State University. All that NIL money, all that 106,000 fans. Wizard, I got to ask, Wizard. I just got to ask, Wizard Jason Kundick, the Wizard of Offense, the man behind the myth. What would you do to make things better?
I think it's pretty simple. I'd start with, I'd institute right away the jet sweep. I'd trademark that.
But it's got to have the little pop pass too, because we don't want no fumble there.
Right. Forward pass. We got to get it. That way, if it hits the ground, it's an
incomplete. Get your mic up
incomplete.
There. Yeah, there you go.
And I'd just start twisting knobs and pulling levers and doing what we do here at Wizardland.
Andy, where did Andy go? Where's Andy at? Where's Andy?
Easy, he's right there.
We got him. You're my get back coach, Andy. I need you to be my get back coach, okay? Because sometimes I get really animated, and I got to have somebody over there to make sure that I got to do is just say, get back. You can grab me by the belt. That's okay. I don't care. That's fine. That's good. But we are going to create men of integrity at State College this year.
Would you change your belt from red to blue?
I gotta have to get a blue visor. I'm gonna have to get a blue visor.
Yeah.
Folks, this is Nolf Bites. I am actually Chris Rossetti. He is actually Ronnie Geist. We're having a little fun with Blaine Gold, the head football coach at Red Bank Valley, as well as Jason Kundick, the offensive coordinator at Red Bank Valley.
I think we had him tricked there.
I think nobody knew who we were, right? Nobody had any idea who we were, but it happened, Ronnie. What I called for last week happened yesterday. James Franklin, no more at Penn State. And it was all my doing. We know it was all me.
How much influence did that email have?
I'm sure it had zero. I'm gonna guess it didn't get read like one bit. Although looking at me right now, I have a little bit of like I look kind of a little bit like Pat Kraft. Saw him in his he's got kind of a little beard going with some gray in it like mine. And
I find it hard to believe you only wrote one email. How many did you write? One a day?
Did I write one a day?
Yeah.
No, I only wrote one. I really only did write one. I wrote one email.
Have you ever checked your blood pressure during one of those Penn State games?
No.
Would it be pretty high, you guess?
Last week, probably. I was not happy. I was like, this guy's got to go. I was still a little surprised he went, but I was like, this guy got to go.
Isn't he the real winner of the whole thing? 50 million?
50 million to sit home and do nothing. Can you imagine, Ronnie, if Andy said to you, hey, Ronnie, we don't want you to sell cars anymore. Here's 50 million to go and sit in your house.
You're fired.
I mean, it's a ludicrous.
How do we get to that point that
$10 hot dogs?
That's true.
$30 beers, $10,000 to stand in the tunnel You know that's what it costs at Penn State. $10,000 to stand in the tunnel.
I didn't even know that was an option.
Oh yeah, $10,000 standing in the tunnel.
For how long?
Like for when they come in, like when the team comes out to the field, goes back. I think there's a club down there too. So you probably it's probably for the whole game. Those people were pissed. I don't know if you guys saw that. Like those people, that might be why he's not the head coach anymore. Those people were booing. And it's one thing when Chris Rossetti sends an email to the athletic director like a fool. It's a whole other thing when people that are given $10,000 to stand there in the tunnel are booing your head coach.
Then people were probably like, we'll just give you the $50 million.
Well, that's exactly what I think it comes down to. I think that at the end of the day, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I saw something that there was something about Adidas may have been a driving force behind this. That too. And I don't know if that's true or not, but that's where you're at. Like, they're about to take they're about to go from a Nike school to an Adidas school. Adidas is paying all this money. When for companies like that, for people like Terry Pagula, who owns the Bills and the Sabres, like $50 million is just a drop in the bucket for these guys.
I just find it hard to imagine. I mean, obviously we talked about it last week. He didn't win the games that were important when it mattered, but
or this year, even the ones that weren't important.
Right. But
he was trying new stuff, probably.
Rewind 4 weeks ago.
Weren't you just saying you should be practicing in them games?
Rewind 4 weeks ago. Do you think the thought was, if I lose 2 games in a row, I'm done?
His thought? I don't think he thought he was done after he lost to Northwestern.
He probably, he probably thought that $50 million was the cushion that keeps him from.
I think what it was coming into the year. If you really ask me what I think it was, I think coming into the year, he had to know that he had to win. Like, it was set up for him to win. You can't ignore that record versus top 20. You can't ignore everything that had been going on, right? Like, everybody was asking about it. You have to be aware of it. You have to know what's going on. You had to know that this was your best chance to win. And, Brian Hagberg, my business partner, brought this up a couple times to me, might have checked out after that Oregon loss. Like, might have realized that was it. When he lost that game to that team on that night in that stadium, that might have been the day that it kind of started to sink in that it was all over. And the truth of the matter was, it wasn't over at that point. They still could have gone on and won a national title. When they lost to UCLA, that was now on life support. When they lost to Northwestern, it went all the way away. So I think what it was coming into the year, the administration knew that it was either national title or bust.
Right.
And so now that that's out of the picture, why would you drag out the inevitable at that point, right? Just do what you did when you did it, get a fresh start and see where it goes from there, because everything that was supposed to be on the table going into the year is now off the table. And so James Franklin wasn't going to be the head coach come December 1st. So what difference does it make to let him go October 12th or December 1st? Too often, whether it's professional sports, college sports, even high school sports, we hold on to people way longer than we should. Well, we want to have the season play out. Well, no, the season played out. This was the season. The rest of the season for Penn State football doesn't matter in terms of the results on the field.
Yeah. I think he had to know. At the end of the day, he's like, this is all big business.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. This is big business.
They're having these conversations behind the scenes, so he has to know somewhat of his status. So I truthfully don't think it's a surprise to him. I think he knows that they had to make a move, make a decision. And I'm sure it's been talked about at some point, or like you said, he's been laid out standards. And if you don't meet these standards, we're going to have to move on. And so I really don't think it would be as big of a surprise to him as some might think.
And chances are, if he's in the position, he's making the same call as what was made to him.
Yeah. Well, and again, let's keep that in mind here. We talked about it last week a little bit, and then we'll move on to other more important things. But like, it's not Penn West Clarion football. It's not W&J football. It's not Grove City football. It's the business of Penn State football. It's not. I hate to say it, but it's not. I saw these. Oh well, James Franklin was great at molding young men. That wasn't what James Franklin's job was. It was maybe when he got hired 14 years ago.
Well, he was there to correct.
Well, not just
culture.
that, but I mean, like 14 years ago when he got hired, we weren't in the NIL era. We weren't in the players get paid era. When the players fought to get paid, and I'm not saying they shouldn't get paid, but when they fought to get paid, when they fought for basically what amounts to free agency, because that's what it is, it's free agency. You are no longer talking about college football. You're talking about a form of professional football. And so it's no longer about molding young men. It's no longer about, I feel so bad for Drew Alar and all that. I get it. He got hurt. He's done for the year. Still making us $3.5 million. It's not like his life's over. It's not like even if his pro prospects are gone, maybe it's not like it's over. Like the dude was getting $3.5 million this year. If he didn't invest that wisely with his Penn State degree, then that's on Drew, right? Like at the end of the day, if Drew has to work a day in his life because he squandered his $3.5 million, that's nobody's fault but his own at this point. There's not one of us that is making $3.5 million on 1 year at any point in our lives. And in fact, there's probably not one of us that makes that money if we combine our salaries and the salaries of 5 of our friends, right? So I'm just, and James Franklin walked out the door with $56 million. I'm not feeling sorry for him today. Just not.
Do you think Blaine will negotiate a contract like that with them?
If he's smart.
With a buyout.
Yeah. And my question is he going to take us with him? Or is he mad at us now that we made fun of him?
Probably a little upset.
Blaine will know what I'm talking about here. Blaine, I told you I was going to get you back at some point in time. So let's stay on the college track, but locally, Jace Ferguson was a flipping man on Saturday at Gannon for Penn West Clarion. Was a man, 330 some yards, 334 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 81 yards rushing, and a touchdown. That alone, what else do you need to say? Oh yeah, by the way, with a minute and a half to go, he takes over to zone 35, down a 2 points or whatever it was. Yeah, down 2 points, and led the game-winning field goal drive. Oh yeah, by the way, at this time last year, he was playing against Red Bank Valley.
Right. That's a true freshman.
He was playing against Red Bank Valley at Central Clarion High School at Weiser Field. Kudos, Jace Ferguson. My gosh. Has there been a better local small school story in the last decade than that right there? What we saw on Saturday afternoon up in Erie.
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, me neither.
I tuned in for a little bit of that after work on Saturday. And I was telling Andy earlier today, Clarion runs a perfect scheme for him too. And if you're anyone that's thinking about your son or daughter going to play college, like it's important that you find a place for that person to go to, whatever sport they pick, because scheme matters. The situation matters. And, they run some like jet sweep type stuff. They're running some reads. They're running some short throws. Now I watched a very short part of the game, but what I did watch, that system's built well for him. Kudos to him and his dad and the staff at Clarion University that, saw him as a fit for that.
Did you see his first touchdown? His mom had a video of his first touchdown run.
I didn't catch it.
And it was like vintage Jace Ferguson, right? He takes the snap, goes back, looks over the field, can't find anybody, sees a seam, hits the sideline, is 37 yards and is gone. Just gone. And, there's an it factor, right? Like, what I'm talking. Anybody who's been around sports knows what I'm talking. There's an it factor.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but
are down there. Ronnie's trying to hide his face there.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure in the 100-meter district finals, Jace Ferguson ran his personal best in that heat, possibly the heat before. I'm not exactly sure. But in every situation that matters, he's always shown. He's always showed up. And
his relay team, he had never run track. He wasn't even going to run track last year. Didn't come out for track until like a couple weeks into the season, right? And then he helped the relay team. Now, look, there were other guys, Beggs and Burford and a guy. Geez, I'm just blanking on the fourth guy, and I apologize to the fourth guy right now. But those guys won the state title in the 4x1. The state title in the 4x1, right? I'm not going to lie. I took a shot at the PA football news in the East-West game with his dad on Saturday. Last year, the guy that runs PA football news told me that Jace Ferguson couldn't be the first team AA quarterback because he wasn't going to play quarterback in college. He wasn't good enough to play quarterback in college. He was going to be a defensive back in college. And he got invited to the East-West game last year, okay? And they weren't going to let him play quarterback. So that's why he doesn't go. One of the reasons he doesn't go. I'm not saying it's the full reason, but that's one of the reasons why he doesn't go. They're going to let him play quarterback. Texted his dad on Saturday. I'm like, think Jace is good enough to play quarterback in the East-West game yet?
I think that's the most interesting thing. And we might even have talked about it here last year is, you start discussing these quarterbacks like Braylon Wagner, Jace Ferguson. And, we say, are they a D1 quarterback? Or are they D2, D3? Hey, he's only 5'10", or he's 6 foot, or this, that. But it's interesting to see, to actually watch how it unfolds. And for him to go Division II to Clarion, and then be successful, it's kind of interesting. And, I'm sure that guy that you're talking about, maybe he's sitting back saying, hey, I called that one wrong, because right. I think we all do it. I think I
think the problem is it's a twofold. Okay. Part of it is kids in District 9 and kids at small schools don't get the respect that they sometimes deserve. Secondly, I think when somebody, and this I think makes me mad sometimes. Look, I'm going to call a spade, and sometimes that gets me in trouble. Okay. If I don't feel a player is worthy of the praise that they're getting because I don't feel like they're playing the schedule that maybe they could be playing or whatever. I'm going to say it. Okay. But like, I'm also not, I do that so that when a guy like Jace Ferguson comes about and I say he's the best quarterback in AA in the state, people should take me seriously when I say that. Like, it's the truth. And like this idea that, he wasn't being heavily recruited because he played in District 9. It's the same thing going on with Aiden Bliss right now. It makes me so mad. Well, he can't play quarterback or he can't play running back because he's a white guy at Port Allegany. I've heard that. I legitimately have heard that. Like, just will you please stop watching the film and please go and watch a guy in person? That's what I would say to every single stupid college football coach out there. Will you stop recruiting on just film and 7-on-7 and get back to what your job used to be, getting to games, watching players at games, seeing what they're like, not just at their football games, at their basketball games and other things. I had an interview this morning with Ray Monica, the head coach at Clarion. And one of the things that I thought was so interesting was Ray talked about how Jace was playing when Ray's son was playing for CL basketball. He didn't even bring up the intangibles of football with me. He brought up the intangibles of watching Jace play basketball and what he saw there. And that's one of the reasons they wanted to go get him too. Those are things that don't show up on film. Ronnie, you watch lots and lots of film, and then you see those same players live when you see them play. It's different, is it not?
Yeah, I think the hardest thing to pull from film is speed, and also that little it factor that you're talking about. Some people just show up in the light. When it's a big game, they elevate themselves. They play better. They're better. And you have to see them in person. Like, you have to.
I just read a quote, and I think it said, "Don't recruit the traits, recruit the player."
Oh yeah.
It was about Cam Scattaboo, actually, I think, because he's taking a lot of heat right now. Obviously, he's having some success, so everybody wants to make excuses or say this or their CTE, this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, the whole point is just some people don't fit the mold, but they're a gamer. They're a player.
Look, the other thing Ray Monica brought up to me was a play from last year. He didn't say what game it was. He's like, I was watching Jace live. and they're in the red zone, and he makes a read, and it's the second or third read, right? And he throws the ball, and before he's even turned his head, the arm is already going in the direction where the ball is supposed to go, right? And he goes, I looked at the guy next to me, local guy, and he's like, I don't know if the guy knows anything about football or not. And I go, that's rare to see. Basically, I'm paraphrasing right now, but that's different. It's different. And Ronnie, you coached against him. There were things that he would do in a football game that you aren't going to pick up on film, that you only pick up because you're there. You don't necessarily pick up on film that a guy is scrambling, right? And he's at the line of scrimmage, and he probably has 10 yards in front of him and can pick up 10 or 15 yards. But he sees the open receiver 35 yards down the field, and he hits him on the run while he's moving. Those are things that film doesn't show you.
And the other thing about Jace, what makes Jace so special is, he does it all. When it was time to put his head down and do the hard stuff, he put his head down, did the hard stuff. He made those throws. He did those things, but if you're looking at it under a microscope, there were times where he'd be bottled in, 2-3 guys around him, and he was good enough, finesse enough to get out to go. I've said this for a long time, and this is coming from, a coach. Like, Jace is obviously a real Division II football player, and some, I don't know how the pecking order of quarterbacks go at Clarion. I don't know if this is a one and done, and they have a senior that's waiting, or that's hurt or whatever.
And that's why he got his chance,
right?
And so he could end up redshirting the rest of the year. But he took his chance and put himself in a position where if it's not the rest of this year, it's next year.
But what I'm getting to is, like, you see what Jace did in our league, in our division, as a true Division II athlete. He demoralized everyone that he played. Like, that's the separation of these levels between, and you take, like, if for anyone that remembers what a Terrell Pryor did in his prime, like, that's a top level. That guy's an alien. He's from another planet, the way he can move. Like, I think sometimes we expect more than what is reality. Jace is probably the best all-around football player that we're going to see in the KSAC in a long time.
I've said it. I got here in 1998. Okay. It's 2025 now. That's 28 years worth of football. I think, if I'm doing the math right, 28 years of football that I've seen. Two kids that were just so much better than everybody else here in Clarion County that I've witnessed. Cal Cathcart and Jace Ferguson. And that's nothing against the Ronnie Rice of the world. That's nothing against the Austin Newcombs of the world. All fabulous high school football players. But there was something different when you watched Cal Cathcart play football. There was something different when you watched Jace Ferguson play football.
And Cathcart went to Penn State, then Clarion,
he went to Penn.
Right? According
to Larry Weiser, he was supposed to have a preferred walk-on offer at Penn State, and somehow or other it never got communicated to him by Jay Paterno. And then, he ended up coming back to Clarion, playing there. And, Tommy Poore was right before my time. So I don't know where Tommy fits into this conversation, because I missed him as a high school player. He was the last year before I got here. So I never saw him play as a high school player. I saw Hayden Johnston play. Hayden Johnston was a fantastic high school football player. Better baseball player probably than football player. But that's when I watched Aiden Bliss play. Those are the same kind of feelings I get, right? Like, you and I talked about this a couple weeks ago, that, like, him versus Cal Cathcart versus whatever. And, like, those guys, there's just something there. And they just don't get that opportunity because of where they are playing. And that drives you nuts, because, again, you'd at least think that the numbers alone would get a coach to come out and watch them play. When was the last time you saw a college coach at one of your games at Red Bank, Ronnie?
It was when we played Clarion. The Clarion University coach was there looking at.
But I'm talking about somebody that didn't, from outside of Clarion.
Alabama.
No, I don't even mean Alabama.
Franklin.
Let's talk about Slippery Rock. Let's talk about whatever. I mean, Matt Sieg, who announced today that he's committed but not committed to Penn State, whatever that means, still.
Keeping his options open.
Yeah.
However, still committed.
At Fort Chair, great player. Don't get me wrong. 7,000 career rushing yards, great quarterback, whole 9 yards. Got his butt kicked by Aiden Bliss last year. Got his butt kicked by him and his teammates at Port Allegheny, right? And yet somehow or other, Matt Sieg is good enough to play at Penn State, and Aiden Bliss can't play at Division II.
So I think football is kind of following a little bit of baseball when it comes to, baseball. You have all these different algorithms that tell you if a player is good or not. And when I was going
sports, man, it's still about just what you do on the field, right?
When I went to college, we didn't have a lot of these combines and things. I think you get a guy like a Matt Sieg, and I don't know anything about Matt Sieg other than he's really fast and good at football. But you go to one of these combines and you put some crazy number up on the board for your shuttle or your 40 or your bench press or whatever, and it instantly projects you onto a map.
Yep.
And there's not the guy, the old fellow that just drove around the local areas watching football games because some guy at the local diner said, "Hey, you need to go watch this Andy Byers guy play."
Yep.
That I don't think that
doesn't happen. It doesn't happen very often anymore.
Do you think, on the flip side of that, do you think more kids are getting opportunities though that might not have been seen in the past?
No, I don't. I think that
outside of your top 1%.
No, because I think what would happen is I'd go to a Fort Cherry game to see a Matt Sieg, and maybe I see the running back from the team that they're playing, right?
Right.
And now all of a sudden he's on my radar screen. Now that kid might not go to camp. That guy might not go to these elite things and all of that. And so now he's getting zero looks because that's not, wherever he's from or whatever his income level is, because these things cost money to go to too. Mm-hmm. They're not free. Brockway runs one, which is great here locally, but it still costs the kids money to go. And so what if you don't have the money to go, right? So now it's about, and Ronnie, you're so right. It's this baseball philosophy that is perpetrated to everything where it's about spin rate and all that. And I was talking to Dave Osborne last night about this. And Dave Osborne, the athletic director at Brookville, played Division I baseball at Westchester. You know what spin rate doesn't tell me? Spin rate doesn't tell me how you react when the bases are loaded in the bottom of the 7th inning of the district championship game. Right. You can have all the spin rate you want, but if you don't have the ability to make the plays when it matters the most, what separated Jace Ferguson? This kind of gets lost in the fact that they didn't win a state title game last year, right? So Troy scores to take the lead with under 2 minutes to play. Jace Ferguson wasn't a kick returner all year. Who did they send back to return that kick? Jace Ferguson. What does Jace Ferguson do with that kick? Comes this close to breaking it for a touchdown and puts his team in a position to win the game. And then everybody forgets this because of the missed field goal. He made a big time throw on 4th down in that game too, in that last drive.
Those are the things that no one sees unless you see them.
And those are things that don't show up at your summer run the 40. Ronnie, you played football. You coach football. How often does a guy run a straight 40?
Never.
Just at the combine.
How often is a guy asked to, if you're not an offensive lineman, first of all, how often does the quarterback have to lift 300 pounds? Well, who's he lifting? I get that having the strength means other things, but what are we talking about? I mean, it would be like in my profession, taking somebody who got all straight A's in English class and saying that makes them a good sports writer. Well, I can tell you from experience, that doesn't make you a good sports writer. It's the dumbest way to evaluate sports. And we've gotten look, technology is great, but technology only takes you so far.
See, I think Andy's partially right. I think more kids are getting looked at than once were, even back to whenever I was in school. Grove City talked to me because they were at AC Valley watching another kid when we played them, right? So, I mean, and combines and stuff like that didn't exist. But I mean, I'm sure they did, but I didn't know about them in District 9. But now you have all these different combines. You have, Twitter's so big. There's kids on there putting, 40 times and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Nowadays, that Grove City coach is sitting in his office saying, DM me your huddle. And you go under the comment and you got 200 kids. Now, I don't know if he's sitting there watching every one of them, but that's where I'm just wondering if more people are getting.
I think that what you guys are saying has a lot of validity to it in terms of, do more kids' names get out there? I think the answer is yes. But when these coaches aren't actually going and watching people play, I think they're limited to the people who they've either requested video from or who have sent them video. And again, after a while, like if you're recruiting based on the video that somebody's sending you, chances are you're not a very good program. Like it just, I'm not saying that everything that they're doing shouldn't be part of what they do. I'm saying that we need to get back to seeing more of them out at games, more of their staff out at games, more people at games. And maybe we don't see it in District 9 as much because we don't have as many good football players. I don't know.
I'd say that's
but
to be
but
brutally
we're
honest.
also not seeing it in baseball where we have a lot of great baseball players. Okay, so this has just become a thing.
We need to get some college coaches on here. Give us their.
Well, Franklin's free. We'll give.
Yeah, he's free. He's free.
His buddy Rossetti here.
Yeah.
On the show.
Yeah. Speaking of thinking of high school football, a couple of big time games this week in District 9 coming up. Unbeaten Union AC goes up to unbeaten Port Allegheny on Friday night.
What's your prediction there?
Oh boy, people have been asking me this now for like 3 days, and I don't know. I mean, wow. So
42-16 Port. That's what I'm saying.
I actually like Union AC Valley's offensive line a little better than Port's, but man, the Aiden Bliss factor coupled with the 2-hour trip up has me thinking that the Gators are going to win this game. They've had trouble at times, though, stopping inside runs, and we know that one thing, the Falcon Knights can run the ball inside.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like that advantage there for Union AC. Again, look, I think it's going to be a good football game. I don't think it's going to tell us anything at the end of the day. I don't know if it's going to matter unless this game ends up a blowout one way or the other. I don't think it separates these two when it comes to who can win the district title, who's the favorite to win the district title going in. And there's another team that's kind of lurking right now that nobody's talking about, and that's Ridgeway.
What's going on with them?
They're winning football games is what's going on with them. They're well coached. Mark Heindel is a great football coach. It's a great football area. Think about it. It wasn't that long ago where they were winning 4 district titles in a row, 2 in AA, 2 in single A. Then, like most public schools, they had a downturn of kids, and now they're maybe on a little bit of an upturn, and but you have to learn to win a little bit too, right? And maybe that's why they lose a game to Kane, because they hadn't learned how to quite win yet. But now are they learning how to win? Yeah, they're learning how to win. And
how big of an impact was that Nellis kid for Keystone not having him in that?
I'm sure it's a big impact. How big of an impact is it if Jackson Huffman isn't lined up for Red Bank?
It'd be a huge impact.
It'd be a huge impact. I think it's a big impact. But remember, they almost beat Union AC too. That was a 13-9 game. So
they play a style of football that hardens you over time.
It does. And it's a tough and they play an offense with that single wing that you don't see. I just, I'm just telling you, there's something about that team right now. I wouldn't call them the favorites to win District 9, but I would say this: you sure the heck don't want to play them if you're one of the top teams.
I'm pretty sure they played Port tough last year.
They did. They did in the regular season. So yeah, I mean, it's, the other big game, obviously, Karn City and Punxsutawney are meeting. I don't really pay attention to state rankings. I don't put a whole lot of credence into state rankings for a lot of the reasons that we've already talked about with recruiting and things like that. But somebody said they're ranked number 1 in the state.
Who?
Karn City.
I didn't see that.
I don't know. I'd like to see that game. Punxsy's good.
They played already once, and
When that was the one come down to a field goal or
that
something.
was the one that came down to that one came down to Punxsutawney led 19-0. And or no, I'm sorry, Carson City led 19-0. And Punxsutawney rallied and won that football game. They scored 22 points in the second half. And that was the big deal in that one. So Carson City was actually somehow, see, this is why I give no credence at all to state rank. I'm looking at PA Football News, the state rankings right now. Carson City, which has a win over Westinghouse, which is ranked 8th in the state by them in single A, and has the previous ranking was 5th when Carson City beat them, right? Carson City is an honorable mention because they have 2 losses. And again, we just talked about that. One of those losses is the Punxsutawney, who hasn't lost a game. Punxsy is unbeaten, hasn't lost a game.
Are they ranked?
No, they're just honorable mention too. Yeah. And you know, I'd have gotten it prior to last year where maybe you look at it and go, well, it's District 9, right? Did I miss where District 9 didn't send the teams to the single A and double A state championship games last year? What am I missing, Andy? Like, if you, like, I don't know. I don't know. So I don't know. I have no idea what to make of it all.
Yeah, that's beyond me. I'm not sure how they come up with that.
So Carson City has lost a 3-point game to unbeaten Punxsutawney, who's 4A. Carson City's 2A. And they've lost to 5A Du Bois, who has 2 losses.
Where's Westinghouse ranked?
Westinghouse is ranked 8th in the state now in single A.
And Carson City but Carson City's double A, right?
Yeah, Carson City's double A.
Where's Port's 4th?
Well, that was last week. I don't know what it'll be after this week.
Right.
Who knows? I don't know. That was last week's rankings. That's why I don't spend a whole lot of time paying attention to them.
Well, obviously here in Red Bank, the Keystone games got me interested against.
Sure, that one's got some playoff seeding implications. Right. I think if Red Bank wins, they're the 3rd seed in single A.
Right.
And, you know, that means a home football game. Although, do you want a home football? I drove by the field today. It's not looking. It's making Acusure Stadium look pretty good.
I like a nice stadium, but I like playing at home too. So I don't know. Less travel's always good.
Less travel for the parents.
Yeah, that's always good. There's something about just playing at home, though. I don't care what the field looks like. You feel good about being at home.
Oh, sure. And you know, it's. I think it's going to be a 7-team tournament. I don't know how you seed it, specifically if Keystone loses this week. I don't know how you seed it. You know, Keystone has a loss to Ridgeway, but a win over Kane, which has a win over Ridgeway, but a loss to Keystone. And they'd all be kind of sitting there with that. And I don't know how you'd seed it. I'm glad that's not my job this year to seed them.
Yeah, I don't know. For us, I feel like Port Allegheny is the obvious number 1 out there, and everyone else is kind of hanging around with the matchups and stuff. And you look at Union AC's matchups through this season, and you know they played Keystone, and really Keystone could have won that game. It come down right to the end. So just kind of everybody for that 2nd place is in the runnings, in my opinion.
Well, I think the number 2 seed is going to be the loser of that Port Allegheny Union AC game. The winner is going to be the top seed. Then the question is who's the 3rd seed? Like I said, I think if Red Bank wins this week, Red Bank has the inside track to that 3rd seed. Then the real question is how you do 4, 5, 6. I think Cameron, if they go, they're going to be 7. So 4, 5, 6 is some combination of Keystone, Kane, and Ridgeway. Kane's got the better record, but against a lesser schedule. And then you get into that where, like we said, like where Keystone beat Kane but lost to Ridgeway, which lost to Kane. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a tougher. It's going to be a tougher way of trying to fit. And then if Red Bank loses to Keystone, now you're talking really 3 through 6s like that.
Right.
And that's not, you know, on any given Friday night, I think any of those teams can win, right? Like Red Bank could beat Keystone, Ridgeway, Kane, They could also lose all those games. And the same goes for all of them, right?
Yeah.
How much do you think the weather and that stuff plays in factors in later in the season? You think it plays in at all?
The teams that we're all talking about, though, this year, I mean, maybe in some years it does, but I don't know. The teams we're talking about right now, all of them are teams that want to stay on the ground. That it's a ground and pound year right now. They're outside of Du Bois, which is going to throw the ball all over the place. In single, let's just stick to single A, right? Who's the engine driver at Port Allegheny? Aiden Bliss.
Mm-hmm.
Who are the engine drivers at Union AC Valley? Max Gallagher, Logan Skabinski. If there's any team that might be affected by the weather, it might be your team down here in New Bethlehem, right? Because your running game isn't really what's your driving engine. Your driving engine down here is throwing the football. The driving engine at Kane, it's Evan Anderson on the ground. I mean, this isn't meaning that like the Eric Novosells and the Andrew Kiefers and the Brendan Philharts can't throw the ball, but that's not the primary focus of those teams. Mm-hmm. What's the driving engine at Ridgeway? They don't even throw the ball. I mean, they're running a single wing for crying out loud. So what's the driving engine at Keystone? It's Dom Corsetti, who is the quarterback, but it's more Dom Corsetti with his legs than it is Dom Corsetti with his arm. They're kind of a hybrid, but they can run the football. They've got Jacob Henry. So outside of Red Bank, you go up to Cameron, and what's their driving force? It's Malachi Zuko and Camden Fergali. Outside of Red Bank, the other 7 teams that are probably going to be in the single A playoffs, their driving factor is running the football. So if it's a windy night, if it's a rainy night, all of that, I'm not sure that doesn't play into their strength to begin with, right? Mm-hmm. But does it affect a Red Bank? Maybe. Yeah, it could.
Definitely. We don't want it to rain. I'll tell you that. No rain.
And
we've had beautiful weather.
We have. Year. It's crazy. It's crazy how it's been this year. It's I think last week I wore long pants for maybe the second time all year to a game. Mm-hmm. I actually had to put on a sweatshirt in the Union press box because the wind was blowing through the press box for some reason.
Did I miss it, or where are you at this weekend? Or this
Karn City, Punxsutawney.
Okay.
Which again, that's a huge game.
And I'm probably late to the game, but is that at Punxsy or at
Punxsy?
At Punxsy.
Beautiful stadium down there. Beautiful grass field stadium down there.
You can't go wrong, Punxsy or Karn City, really.
No, not at all. Not at all. So, it's an interesting. It's interesting. Have anything good to eat this week, Ronnie? We always talk about food. Have anything good to eat this week?
I had a horrible experience at Buffalo Wild Wings.
What happened?
Oh, it just took 3 hours.
That would drive me nuts. Went and did the airport, the new airport. They're building that new terminal at the airport.
Oh, yeah.
So went down to. They had an open house on Saturday. My wife and I went down to the open house on Saturday to check out the new quote unquote landside terminal. It was kind of cool. It was kind of nice.
What'd you eat?
Yeah, what'd you eat?
Well, Friday was my wife's birthday, so I told her she could pick wherever she wanted to eat, and she wanted to go to Cracker Barrel, so we went to Cracker Barrel.
That's a pretty good pick.
Yeah. I had some meatloaf and some chicken. She had chicken.
I think I've only ever ate breakfast at Cracker Barrel.
The food's pretty good. I like the food at Cracker Barrel. I don't care what their logo is, mind you, but because I don't care what anybody's logo. I just tell me what your food is. Your food's good. That's all. Food's good. Service is good. That's all I care about.
Do you have a pick for the Penn State new coach?
Nah. Blaine Gold.
Going
Men of integrity, it's going to happen at University Park, and I am not going to complain about the size of the runway.
Well, I thought you were going to go with maybe someone from University of Indiana, maybe.
I wouldn't mind a guy,
Or the guy
it's possible that the guy at the University of Indiana might hear my name and it might actually ring a bell.
Did you cover him?
Not really. I interviewed when I was at IUP, his dad was the head coach at IUP. And I had one-on-one sit-down interviews with him when I was at the newspaper. Dad didn't really like me one year because he was using 2 quarterbacks, and I criticized the use of 2 quarterbacks. But hell, I was.
I don't think he's coming to Penn State. I think he wants to build that program into a
I'm going to tell you
powerhouse.
that. I'm going to tell you this, Ronnie. If Indiana offers him $5 million and Penn State offers him $10 million, where do you think he's at?
I hear you, but I
money
feel like
talks, Ronnie.
I feel like he's got a chip on his shoulder.
Ronnie, if A. Crivelli came and offered you double what Andy's offering you here,
I'm staying here all day. This is where you get the best deals.
It is where you get the best.
It's about the customer base.
It is where you get the best deals. Middle of the month already, guys. What happened? Where did the month go? Where's October going? Where's my birthday cake, guys?
When's your birthday?
Saturday. My birthday's coming up Saturday. Did I get a birthday cake next week?
We'll have it Monday.
Next Monday.
We won't ask big you how old you'll
what
be.
Is it?
Oh, it's a big one. It's got a 5 with it and a 0.
Ooh. You're old.
Yeah, I'm old.
What's your wife going to get you? You guys do birthday
Are
gifts?
We don't do birthday gifts.
You realize you reach a certain age where you just kind of have everything. You don't really want anything, and if you do want it, you just get it when you want
Yeah,
it.
basically. Yeah, we got there a long time ago. We don't have kids, and so we got there a long time ago. She's like, why are we we don't do Christmas gifts. I mean, we do small Christmas gifts, and it's basically the same thing every year. So we kind of know what we're getting each other for Christmas, but we don't really do gifts because you're just basically exchanging. And then our birthdays are 8 days apart. And so it's not even we went out to eat, and we'll go out to eat probably next week too. Right. And I paid this week, she'll pay next week, and that'll be that.
Are you one of those couples that sit at the table and don't talk to one another? Those couples amaze me. And you'll see older couples and they're 65, 70.
We don't even sit at the table anymore. I mean,
word.
we don't even eat dinner at the table anymore. We eat dinner in front of the television. I'm not going to lie. We eat dinner in front of the television.
You guys have separate checking accounts?
We do have separate checking.
Smart, man.
How do you manage that?
Her paycheck goes into hers. Mine goes into mine. Fortunately for me, she makes a lot more money than me.
Does she give you an allowance?
No,
from hers?
No, I don't ask for an allowance.
I get an allowance. I mean, our paychecks all go into one account, and then I'm only allowed so much money.
He gets $50 for every Amazon box he carries in for her.
Yeah. You trip over them every day.
Shoes, clothes. What's Heidi's purchase of choice?
I don't know what she buys because it's always in a box. But I think Instagram and these influencers now, and they entice women to buy holistic, natural things. Or
I bought a red visor.
She did buy a red
So
sweatshirt.
we're gonna donate the visor to Blaine Gold.
His is getting a little ratty.
Well, this one's a little ratty. This one was like one of those. You know how women buy their
Jeans
their jeans with it. See, this one was bought. This one was a used visor. But you know why I bought the used one? Because it was the cheapest one. It wasn't used, but the one that makes it look like it's used because it was the cheapest one. Because this was obviously supposed to be a gag, right? Wasn't spending. You know how much these go for? If you buy one that Blaine wants, a Nike one or something like that,
probably $30.
Like $30, man. No wonder you said that Blaine holds on to his like it's gold. No wonder he holds on to it like it's gold.
It's only half a hat. You'd think it'd be half the price.
You would think it'd be half the price. Yeah, I mean, I could get a regular hat for $35. I mean, I should get this for $20 at least. Come on. I mean,
those look like they were $50 for $4.
Yeah, it should have been $50. It was I think $9 or whatever. The wizard hat was a little cheaper than that.
Was it?
Yeah. I went to Walmart trying to find a wizard hat here. Couldn't find any wizard hats, even though it was Halloween.
Perfect time of year.
It would have been a perfect time of year.
You think Jason would come down and bring his real wizard hat?
I don't think so. I think he saves it for Friday nights. It's a little awkward sitting in the press box with him when he wears it.
Did you see him? He had a suit on the other night for homecoming down on the sidelines.
Yeah, it was his daughter in the on the
court. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys do that really nice at Red Bank where you have the parents escort the daughters. I like that. I like that. Yeah, that's a nice touch.
You know, we do a powder puff football game. I didn't, because I've only been at Red Bank, but there's other schools that don't do that. I think that's a really cool idea that they do.
I never heard of that.
It is until your star basketball player tears her ACL in the powder puff football game.
That's a chance you got to
Who
take.
did that?
I don't remember. This was a couple years ago, but I remember there was a girl that tore her ACL in a powder puff football game. Might have been at Montauk, now that I'm thinking about it.
You could do that anywhere, though.
Yeah, you could, but I'm fairly certain the basketball coach, if you were going to do it, would rather you do it playing basketball than in a powder puff football game. Just saying.
Hey, I tell my son, when you play games, you get hurt. It just happened to be your turn.
Oh, there's
got to toughen it up and keep going.
A lot of truth to that. A lot of truth to that. And I think that is going to do it for us tonight here on Nolf Bites here from Nolf Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Fairmont City. You wanted to say something, Ron?
I was just going to say, I wish I would have brought my wand. I could have poofed us into the end.
Oh, that'd have been cool. Yeah, that'd have been cool. Well, folks, till next week, which will be the last week of the regular season in high school football. Where the heck did it go?
Yeah.
Won't be the last week for the show. We'll do the show a couple weeks after that, as we did last year. But Ryan Pugh wants to do a podcast. We can just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Except Brian can't do Mondays. It's a bad day for him.
We
can do Tuesdays at Ronnie's house when he's doing laundry and all the other stuff.
I'm thinking we need to build a studio. We're getting about there, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so. I think a studio would be nice. Nolf on the back and
some neon lights.
Yeah, some neon lights and buy some equipment to stay here so we don't have to take it with us and all of that. And I was telling a couple people we were going to do this little bit today, and really, I'm like, look, it's a show about nothing. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's really a show about nothing. I mean, we're just sitting around having fun. I enjoy it, guys. So anyhow, till next week, this is Nolf Bites here from Nolf Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Fairmont City, where Ronnie and Andy will take care of you like your family. Till next week, Chris Rossetti for Ronnie Geist and Andy Byers saying good night. Why should you choose Nolf Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Fairmont City? Why wouldn't you choose them? At Nolf, their sales are speedy and include upfront and straightforward pricing. If it's service and parts you're after, they have skilled technicians who are factory trained while offering knowledgeable parts experts. Maybe you need Nolf's full service body shop offering top quality collision repair to all makes and models of cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Or do you want to cruise the highway in a clean, shiny vehicle thanks to Nolf's detailing service? No matter your needs, Nolf Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Fairmont City is there for you. Find out more at NolfChryslerDodge.com.